So here we are getting an error that says we have not defined this method, right? We don't have the implementation for this destructor, but we didn't even call it. Well, like the constructor, the destructor is automatically called when an object goes out of scope. So when main runs, it creates this dice, and then when main gets done, it destroys the dice. And that's when the destructor is called, and that's when we got this error, this compile error. So before we can go forward, we need to implement the destructor. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is what the destructor looks like, no return type. And we're going to put this in the implementation in dice.cpp. And now it won't recognize this method, right? Because we want it specifically, not just any squiggly dice method, but the one that goes with the dice class. So we have to specify the class and then the scope resolution operator. And that's what we want. We want that destructor. Now, the destructor allows you to do something when that object is destroyed. This works really well if for some reason, if you have a data type that creates memory, right, that uses memory and it allocates memory, then when it gets destroyed, you want it to return that memory back to the stack. You don't want it to keep that memory when you no longer have that object. So it's really valuable to be able to do that, to be able to put away that memory when you're done with it. Well, in our particular case, we don't have any memory that we've allocated, and so we don't have to worry about that. In fact, there really isn't anything we need to clean up. Everything's fine. We just, after we create an object, it just goes away. That's fine. The object can be just destroyed. We don't have any dynamic memory that we need to worry about. So there's nothing to be done in the destructor. So again, we're just going to get rid of the spacing here and have that entire function body be empty and just say, here's our destructor, do nothing. So notice we need it, but it doesn't need to do anything. So that's what we're going to do. Now let's see if we can run it. Now in main, we've created it, and we're going to end. Let's see if we can compile. And sure enough, it compiled with no error. And so it's all compiled, which is great, right? Notice that it didn't do anything. That's because we didn't tell it to do anything, create this object and destroy this object. And that's all we've done in main. But this is cool because now we're able to create something of type dice, and we haven't done that before because this type of dice, this data type dice, didn't exist. We created it right here. In the .h file is where we have the declaration. In the .cpp file is where we have the implementation.